Welcome to Strange Gossip. I'm Catherine.
And I'm Taylor, and this is going to be like your friend's take on the weird.
Because we're tired of real life problems and want to talk about spooky shit.
Ooh, it's the Halloween episode, everybody. Welcome to episode
Halloween.
3. We're, one of us is dressed up today.
I really came prepared.
Moth woman? I love it.
I love it. I got the dress. We got some Mothman earrings that David made me. We're really feeling the spooky Halloween fantasy.
I just love it.
I am so excited. Halloween is my favorite time of the year. So just to have an episode come out on Halloween just feels very like the universe is aligning right now.
We did not plan that really. Like we were like, oh, let's put the first episode out this day. And then I was looking at it and I'm like, oh my God, we're going to have an episode on Halloween. Like how perfect for a spooky podcast. Love it.
It's so meant to be. It really, really. And also this topic on Halloween, cryptids, like, whew, my heart.
It's perfect.
Oh.
All the stars are aligning. So
happy Halloween, everybody. We're so happy you're here and with us again. Welcome. Welcome back.
Yeah. Ooh. Welcome back. I hope the first episode. Why can't I talk like that? I hope that the first 2 episodes were great. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope you're following us. And I'm excited to get into this topic. So before we do that, though, I wanted to bring up some of the latest and greatest current event topics, I guess you could say. So
ooh, Taylor, let's go.
I'm
excited to hear
I'm just
it.
going to come out the gate with it. The airplane girl has been identified. And I don't know if you must be living under a rock if you do not know about the airplane girl, but she pointed at someone in the airplane and was like, that motherfucker right there is not real. Mind you, I thought her outfit was so cute. It introduced me to Goyard. Which I was like, oh, her purse is like this like fancy like it's like Louis Vuitton but like underground. Like Goyard only sells in like retail store, like only in their stores and not online. And I was like, oh, is this like, it's like a whole thing. Anyway, I'm like, I need a Goyard bag. They're like $4K and I'm like, I need to sit down.
I just hold on, pause. I just love that you watched a video that was circling the internet of a woman screaming at something to get off the plane and went, cute bag though.
Yeah, her outfit was cute as shit.
It really was. You're so right.
I was looking for her shirt everywhere. I ended up buying one on Amazon. Like I went
Taylor.
It's a whole thing. Anyway, I was like, that's a cute outfit.
That's a good Halloween costume. Is that messed up?
I should have wore that. Because I'm only dressed up in spirit. Like I'm not. I don't have costumes, but I guess I have the airplane girl costume, and I should have fucking worn it. That's a missed opportunity.
Okay, but you have to do that for Halloween.
Okay,
that's hilarious.
Maybe I'll wear it on our next episode just for funsies.
And then for anyone that listens.
I straight up brought the jeans, the shirt. I did not buy the 4K Goyard bag, though. I will be honest.
Is there that has to be like a knockoff or a dupe? Yeah,
but at that point, it's like, are you going to knock off? That's like knocking off like Louis V. You just don't. It's just not. You could. I don't know if I'm that person though. But
I
anyway,
get it. Where is the line of like when do you get a fake bag? When are fake bags okay?
When you're just like, I guess like when you have a costume. I guess this would be fitting.
That's so true. But I think there's a little part of me that like when we lived in New York, there was like one specific street where you knew they sold fake all bags. Yeah. And that was like kind of a fun experience. Not saying that I bought anything from there ever on record, but great. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I may have fake Supreme slides from Barcelona.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, but speaking of her outfit, though, she was interviewed, once she got identified, she was interviewed by TMZ in an airport of all fucking things. And she's wearing a very similar outfit to the one that she wore before, just different colors, hair done the same way. But a lot of people are like, it doesn't look like her. And I would have to agree. It does not look like her. Like there's a semblance, but I don't know. Some people are saying it's like a plant. It's very weird. She came out with a message of like, your mental health is important, but never really explained what happened. I didn't go too far down that rabbit hole, but it's out there. Yeah. If you're interested in the airplane girl, you could look into it. I don't know. Unless she comes out and says what actually happened, there's just so many theories, but I thought it was funny.
That's so true. Do you have a leading theory of what you think happened?
It's weird that like it doesn't look like her. Like if it came out and it was her and she was like mental health, I'd be like, oh, she probably just had a little bit of a breakdown.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that it just kind of breeds into the fact of like, what was that? I don't know.
What for real, like I think I don't know, like if some woman was on a plane and saying like, I need to get off, like that person's not real, I'd freak out.
I would get the fuck off.
I think I'd get off the plane. I'd be like, I guess
I'd be
not.
like, no, it's good. You know what? I'll fly
drive,
tomorrow.
It's okay. Yeah. like I don't really know what I would do in that situation. Like, I'm sure.
First of all, I would ask her, hey girl, where'd you get your shirt from? Because it was such a shit show to find it. Second, I would get off the plane.
Hey, pause. Your outfit, girl. You're killing it.
Hold on a minute. I've got a real question.
She did look cute, though. It's so funny that you say that. It's terrible to say, but I literally thought the same thing.
Right? I'm like, she looks so put together. I love it.
She really does. The outfit looked great. I don't know why it made me think of like Hawaii like style, but it did. There's something about it.
It was very like relaxed, but still like, I don't know.
Together.
It worked out really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved it.
Oh my
anyway,
gosh,
do you have any current topics?
I do.
Oh.
And I have photos with my current topics. So
shit. Okay.
Okay. Now, it's because it's been a minute since we did our last record, of course. So
yes.
I wanted to make sure we bring up the mummified aliens that were presented to the Mexican Congress.
Okay.
Do you know about this? Have you seen this?
I'm sorry. Have you seen the meme where it said, "Is this cake?" And they made it into cake?
Okay, but I will put that in the edit. That is so funny.
Okay.
Yeah, facts.
Because it looks like so legit. They did such a great job. Like, you would not know. And then they cut into it and it's cake. And I really think Netflix should just make that a trailer.
I mean, truly. I mean that it's begging to be used in like a Halloween episode, right? Like, yes. It has to be. Well, because it classic. Looks so fake. I'm going to share my screen.
Immediately no.
Look at this guy. No. Incorrect.
What? How? Where? No. Look at its little mouth. It's kind of funny.
It looks like an arts and crafts project.
No.
I
love how they went with the 3 fingers too. Like, come on. Like, let's figure it out. Let's be a little bit more imaginative, okay?
I like that it's in a very dramatic, like, art, like, here is it in this, like, coffin-y looking feeling.
I know,
like,
and then they put, like, dust around it.
In it.
Like, honey, that looks like something got cremated in there. That doesn't even look whatever. I can't. I don't know.
Me up. It cracks me up because, like, for me, like, it just screams like arts and crafts project. Like,
yes,
my husband
paper mache.
Is very into clay. And I was like, not to say, like, I just think David would make a better version of this. Wait, what?
Okay, I was just going to say David needs to make the earrings.
Because truly, I have to, like, shout out David. I mean, he's been, like, really into, like, clay. He's a man of many hobbies. I wish I had this about myself. I do not. But David will just like come up with a hobby, and he's been like doing clay stuff.
So cute.
He made me these little Mothman cryptid earrings.
Love them.
And so you're right. I'm gonna ask
the little
him,
feet. Yes, he needs to make aliens.
Specifically this. But anyway, so with this, just in case someone's listening and they can't see all the things we just showed, basically, like, in the photos I'm showing Taylor, there are 2 alien specimens that are really small in stature, 2 eyes, a mouth, 2 arms, 2 legs, 3 fingers on each hand, with elongated heads, and it just looks like a terrible plot. It's awful.
And first, like, also too, if you're not watching this, it's easily findable. You can find us on YouTube or watch on Spotify. I would definitely recommend, especially for this episode. I have a whole PDF, girlfriend, a PDF, a PowerPoint. I'm not a corporate girly, okay, but I am. But I'm also like not that great at it. It's a PowerPoint. So I highly recommend watching this episode if you can.
Great note, great point. I also have a ton of photos, so we'll incorporate it. We'll also put some stuff up on Instagram as well, so you can see it backwards. But yeah, this is the episode to watch. Like, yeah,
100%. 100%.
But I have a little bit about the story, and it's actually a little bit deeper. There's a little bit bigger of a picture here with like faked objects. Do you know anything about this?
No.
Okay, so just to kind of sum up the background of this specifically, a journalist/UFO enthusiast presented 2 mummified aliens that were supposedly found in Peru in 2017 to Mexico's Congress. The journalist shares that he believes them to be over 1,000 years old and one to be a female because of the discovery of eggs found inside one of them.
Yeah, eggs because they're cake. Like
like real ones cracked into that flour, baby.
Like literally the yolks.
Oh my goodness. But
Sorry,
from
had to.
like all the things I've found, like it's an absolute fraud. Like it's even already been like found out that it was human remains,
Yes.
animal bones, and plaster. Like that's what they used to make it.
Wait, really? So it was paper mache, basically.
Basically. But
Wow.
that's kind of where.
What's the time?
Oh, I know. I mean, if you want, because this is part of like the larger story. So apparently this one artifact and this one story is a part of a larger group of hoaxers that present fake evidence to gain acclaim. Like
That's so
this
annoying.
is like a larger thing. Some of their work include the famous Roswell slides. Shout out Roswell, episode 1.
No.
But they're basically these slides that showed mummies that were taken at Roswell. I remember seeing that on the internet, but it was completely proven to be fake. So, but that's
Interesting.
also them, same group, as well as the demon fairy. Did you see that online?
I have not
it was
seen
like
the
going
demon
around.
fairy.
I should have grabbed a photo. I'll put it in the pod. I'll put it in.
Okay.
But it's it's actually just a bat with wooden sticks that they made, like they shaped it to look like a demon fairy. Hilariously, though, it wasn't discovered to be a fake until after they sold it for $10,000.
I would be pissed.
Just a true lesson to anyone listening that like do a little research, check it out before you buy anything. Like if someone offers you, I don't know,
Get the knockoff.
aliens, go get the knockoff.
Go,
if this episode
go to Barcelona, go to LA, go to the
New
get
York
the knockoff.
City, Lower East
Oh my
Side.
God.
It's so true. Get the dupe. You do not need. I mean, it was technically a dupe, though. I mean, they just put that
actually,
together.
though.
Anyway, so I just thought that was hilarious and
That's
just
so annoying of
absolutely,
them.
yeah, ridiculous. So larger. I didn't know that this was like kind of a whole underground group of hoaxers. I just think that's kind of like, what do those meetings look like? Are they getting on Zoom once a month and going, oh, what mystical creature can we fake today?
Pretty much. No, there's people in Russia that are literally go out and they create conspiracies about the craziest stuff and they'll post it all over social media. So it'll kick up and it's usually about like US stuff.
I have heard this.
Yes. And they'll go and like create like drama, basically. It's very interesting. I don't have the time for that. Maybe I do. Maybe this is what this podcast is.
This podcast is about the drama, that is true, but the drama of like fun, spooky stuff, not like the drama of like real world stuff.
Valid point. Valid point.
Schmer.
Well, with that, we did want to make a note before we get into our episode on cryptids and such, because many of you know, obviously we're from Maui and there was a tragedy there and we don't want to just completely ignore that. So, unfortunately, a lot has happened there. If you don't know, definitely take a look into that. Luckily, our family is safe and our close friends, but there has been a lot of people affected there. And so we just want to keep Maui in our thoughts and send good vibes over there.
Absolutely. And just our hearts go out to our community, like Lahaina is such a part of us. It's where we were raised and so many people we love have been affected by this. So just know we're sending so much love. And if you all can think of Maui and keep them in your hearts, we'd really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that kind of leads into my cryptid. So my cryptid's actually from Hawaii.
Oh.
I picked this cryptid prior to everything happening, but I think it'll be somewhat cathartic to kind of go over it. So what do you know about the Menehune? Or what do you remember growing up about the Menehune?
Okay, that's a great question. I mean, the Menehune as like a classic Hawaii lore. Like they are this, I almost want to compare them to like fairies or elves.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of this like known, I think, I don't actually know a ton about the Menehune, to be honest.
Well,
more just
let me
beyond
fill you in.
that, and that they're just kind of, they have
Like
their own little villages, and you can make, you can present them with things as like offerings or something. Maybe I'm completely misremembering this, but you can do things for the Menehune.
Yes. So what I remember growing up is, like you said, they're kind of like almost like fairies. Like in my mind, for some reason, they're like pea size, maybe a few inches tall. Is like how I remember
tiny.
them. Okay, I think maybe that's just a me thing. We'll get into that. Okay. But that's what I remember them as, like very like much like tricksters. Like anytime you like lost a sock or you lost some other item, you would blame the Menehune. Like the Menehune came in and like moved your sock, or you must have pissed off the Menehune because now they're messing with you or whatever. That is what I remember. Basically, they just like move things around. They're little people, but they're almost like have this like, I don't know. They almost feel like fairies, like they're like fairy tale.
Yeah.
Well,
there's definitely like a lore for sure.
There is a lore. And they also, too, they're pretty prevalent because there's actually the Menehune Water Company has them as a logo. Yeah. And it's like their little like guy and he's just carrying the water. And it's just like the Menehune are like well-known, spoken about little like, I don't even know what to call them. Cryptids would be a good one.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the Menehune. As far as the history and legend, I'm going to kind of jump into that. And then I've got some crazy stuff coming up. So the Hawaiian legend has it that Menehune are a group of small, mischievous people that live in forests and valleys of the islands. And they're most prevalent in Kauai, but they're also thought to be on all of the islands. And there are those that believe they are the first settlers of Hawaii. And then some that believe they still roam around the islands today. So definitely interesting. Here's a note on size. So size-wise, the most common accounts that I have found state between 2 to 3 feet tall, which is more similar to what you were thinking. I have seen some that say they're like as small as 6 inches, but those are usually from children, like those accounts, which I don't know.
On brand.
That's like what I thought. But I think the standard is around like 2 to 3 to 4 feet. They have been known to carry arrows and are great craftsmen. And so it's said that they do a lot of their building at night because they do not like to be seen. So if someone were to catch them in the act of building, they would abandon the project. And then there are also a lot of structures still standing that are attributed to Menehune today in Hawaii. Interesting, right?
Interesting.
So I don't remember a lot of it on Maui. Again, a lot of these structures are sitting on Kauai, which is kind of interesting. One of those being the Menehune fish pond. So this pond is about 900 feet long and 5 foot tall. It's a wall that separates the pond from the kind of greater river located inland in Kauai. And it's said that the Menehune built this pond in one night, and they performed legendary engineering feats and used building technologies that differ from some seen in traditional Hawaiian construction. So like looking at Hawaiian construction, they can't it's not the same. It's definitely different, which would be interesting. So this is where I'm going to get into a little slideshow for us. So I'm going to share my screen. So here is the logo for the Menehune Water Company, first of all, just so you can get an idea of like what we think the Menehune look like. Little guys, little pot bellies. They're very strong. Look at him carrying that water. So this is definitely what I remember from like the ABC stores. Do you remember this logo?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
It's funny when you like see a logo all the time as a kid, don't think twice about it, but it's like, oh my gosh, I just remember this. I feel like everywhere.
Right? ABC store all the time. But just so you guys can get an idea of like what a Menehune looks like, very strong kind of pot belly, very like they're wearing like a Hawaiian like style like headdress and cloth. And like this is a typical like Menehune when you think of Menehunes in Hawaii.
For sure.
All right. So leading into the Alikoko fish pond, or better known as the Menehune fish pond. So you can see that little strip of kind of like wall between the river and the greater fish pond. Can you see that, or are our heads covering it?
I just moved us. Yes. I can see it.
Mm-hmm. So that is what they say the Menehune is built. So again, 900 feet. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And then 5 foot tall. And so they're saying, and what that does is essentially it lets like the fish into that little like corral area. Mm-hmm. They grow up and then they're too big to swim back out. So it's a way for them to like catch fish. It's said that the Hawaiian royals commissioned the work from the Menehune and then they would pay them in shrimp. But some say they think that this structure predates the early Hawaiian settlers. So there's debate over it. Yeah. Wow. So pretty crazy. But either way, definitely an impressive structure for way back in the day. The first population census conducted in Kauai, Wainiha Valley in 1820 reported 2,000 people. And of those, 65 were listed as Menehune.
What?
Right? Right? That's what I said.
It says it on the census?
It's on the census. 65 people are Menehune.
Wait.
Yeah.
Hold on. Hold everything. What? Wait, what year was this?
I know. It was 1820.
Oh, that's like recent.
I mean, girl.
I mean, like, not like recent, but like
not too far. I mean, it was the first population census that was conducted. But here's a thought, and here's why some people think that some people are listed as Menehune. So some think that the word Menehune comes from the Tahitian word Menehune, which is a Tahitian word for caste of commoners. Rude.
Yeah, seriously.
But if you think about it, like they're known to build a lot. It would make sense that like if maybe these people that lived there were shorter and smaller and they built and they, you know, the Hawaiian settlers came in and kind of were like, well, you're like the Menehune. You're like, you know, a step below, which is kind of weird.
Oh yeah, that's terrible.
I don't know if people got labeled as that because they were short or what it was, but 65 of them were listed.
Wow.
So moving on to the crazy part. Are you ready for this?
Okay, that was already the crazy part.
Well, would you believe me if I told you Hawaii also has its own Stonehenge?
I'm sorry. Sorry. What?
Okay. So this is Necker Island. It's an island in the northwestern Hawaiian island chain that doesn't show any signs of inhabitants besides Hawaii's own version of Stonehenge. So you can see obviously like Hawaii area, what we are all used to. I thought Niihau was the end of the Hawaiian chain, to be honest with you. I knew there was like some little ones off of it, but this is one of those. So if you go into like the Leeward Islands, Necker Island is the second one back there. So here we go. There are about 52 archaeological sites with 33 ceremonial upright stones that are believed to line up with particular celestial bodies. According to legend, these stones were placed by the Menehune after they were cast off the islands. So you can see like the little upright stones there. Look at this island. Nobody's living on that.
No.
There's no trees. There's no shade. There's very little food. You can see obviously birds there and like some shrubbery, but this is not an island where people would just be putting these up.
That's insane. Because, you know, there's that larger theory that there are Stonehenges across the globe to connect. Have you heard this? Like,
no.
They're supposed, like, because Stonehenge, they found similar structures all across the world, and apparently they're all supposed to connect. Like, I think one of the, like, conspiracy theories is that they all kind of, I think they were like portals or something like that. But the fact that there's, oh, for sure. But, you know, a lot of people think it was just used to keep time, like a calendar, you know, the typical thing you hear about Stonehenge. So but it is really, I did not know that there was one in Hawaii. My brain is blown.
We grew up there and we had zero clue that this was like however many like nautical miles. You know what I mean?
I'm like,
so wait for this.
Floor.
Check this out. What are those?
Where did you?
So there are some accounts that the Menehune can turn people and themselves into stone if they are angered.
Okay,
and
this
these were
familiar.
found. They were found on that island.
What?
Yeah.
By Stonehenge?
Yeah,
there's
by like the Hawaiian Stonehenge. So I don't know. It's so, and that looks like a Menehune to me. Like that would be what I would imagine. It's so interesting, and I don't know. It's just weird. These stones were found, but something to note is even in all of the Hawaiian chains, anywhere that you look, no remains have been found to prove the Menehune.
Oh.
But we have these structures, we have these kind of weird things that we can't explain.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there...
But, yeah, go ahead.
I was just wondering, like, was there anything about, like, besides Menehune? Like, was there anything else about who would have built these?
No. There's no account of, like, where that stuff came from.
Wow. That's so fascinating. So David and I will be watching, like, Ancient Aliens or watching something about whatever's on television with world mysteries. And sometimes we're just like, how bored were our ancestors that they were like, I'm gonna make some sculptures or something.
I know. Like, first of all, that's hard.
Yes,
you know
seriously.
What I mean? Maybe it's carried on because we're still doing it with like the Mexico and Peru. We're still making them, I guess.
So true. How long from where in the timeline does their hoaxes hundreds of years from now, they're like, oh my gosh, can you believe this like demon fairy?
Like maybe someone's literally juking us. I don't know. But anyway, the Menehune have been part of like a lot of like cultural things, right? And they're also in the media. So they've made appearances in marketing for Alani Resorts, which is the Disney resort on Oahu, if you don't know. It's pretty cute. They marketed the kids' pool area bridge as being built by the Menehune, who they then boasted as being master builders. Nickelodeon also has an animated short that features the Menehune. And so I'll link that in the show notes if you want to take a look. But they've even been featured in Rocket Power.
Okay, what?
I love Rocket Power. It's super cute. I love it. It's just like, I don't know. Something about it just makes me really happy. But in addition to those things, there is also, and we're going to get into this too a little bit later, but there is a show on Animal Planet, and it's about finding Bigfoot. And they did a whole episode on the Menehune. So they talked to some locals about eyewitness accounts, which is definitely something we'll get into and kind of go through that. But check this out. There have been remains found of Homo florescens, essentially little people, in Flores, which is a tropical island in Indonesia. And they were found in 2003 in a cave. And they estimate that they were about 3.5 feet tall, hobbit-like hominoids. Initial testing dated the remains to be about 100,000 to 60,000 years old.
Wow.
So my question is like, is it possible that these people were savvy voyagers and ended up actually being the first settlers in Hawaii, and we just haven't found the remains yet?
Wow, that's a great question, because I totally see that. There's so much of the voyaging as part of like Polynesian culture. And so to imagine the larger scope, granted, obviously it's still far, but like, I just feel like that whole area is known for like voyaging amongst different cultures and people. And I'm like, that's not a far leap.
Yeah, like the fact that they found a human-like species that is around this size in a different area. Is it possible that they just kind of went from Indonesia to Hawaii? Like, sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Given all the other, I mean, that's kind of how a lot of early
Hawaiians
made it. Like that's
exactly.
That's not a far jump. I totally see that.
It's really not. It's really not. So I think like the biggest question is, are the Menehune folklore, or are they actually a race of people?
Wow.
So
Great
very
question.
interesting. Huh. I know. And also too, like tales of small forest creatures are not unique to Flores either. The Indonesian island of Sumatra has orange pendik, or orang pendik. I'm not exactly sure to pronounce it, but that translates to short person. And so they have a thick mane of hair. It's a head down, back, and it's around 5 feet tall as well, which is interesting. Very similar. The methodology surrounding Ibu Gogo and Orang Pendek, which are like the small races of people, is similar to that of the Menehune and may relate to a shared cultural memory of a short-statured race that has become extinct.
Wow.
Yeah. Interesting. I don't know.
This is mind-blowing, because I feel like growing up in Hawaii, Menehune were like, for me personally, I just feel like it was fairy tale. Like it was elves.
100%.
You know, it was something that like you didn't really, it was like, oh yeah, that's kind of a thing. But to actually think about them not only existing in the real world, but having a really, really like all they are missing is just finding those remains in Hawaii. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And like, they're just one discovery. And the fact that, when was that Indonesian discovery? In the 2000s?
2003.
That's what I'm like. That's so recent.
Yeah.
And like, so I feel like there really is a shot where maybe we do a follow-up a year, you know, ideally we'll be doing this podcast forever, but it could come to light. Like that doesn't seem like such a stretch. That's amazing.
And that's kind of like what a cryptid is, right? Like it is a species that has not yet been identified. And it's just, I don't know, it's very weird. But I wanted to get into some eyewitness accounts because that's always a good time. So these are all from that show, Finding Bigfoot. So John, one of the locals in that show, was showing the team around the island, and his dad saw a Bigfoot back in the day when he worked in the sugarcane fields. So he said he was driving a truck across the Cahokia Bridge at night and saw a small 2 to 3 foot person run across the road in malo, which is the cloth. And he said it couldn't be a child because it was muscular and looked like a little man.
Huh.
Yeah. And like no child's going to be running around in a cloth. Well, I guess they run around in diapers. It's a little bit different.
Sure.
Yeah, that was one. And then there's a man that claims to have been in the jungle and came across a cave that had been carved, like it had a carved bench in it from the rock area. So it's like carved into the cave, this little bench. And he sat down in it and he thinks that the cave was a place where the Menehune lived. And he claims to be the person that could have lived there. He was like saying that the person that would have lived in that tiny little area would have been about 3.5 to 4 foot tall.
Wow. Okay.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
I mean, the reason that he thinks that is, again, a lot of the Menehune are said to like live in the forest. They're very shy. They don't really live where like the rest of society lives, right? So they live up in these forests and these caves. And so he said he saw this tiny little cave. Very interesting.
Yeah.
And then, so Bobby was an eyewitness, and he said he was riding his bike to work through a field in Kauai and heard 2 men talking in a language he never heard. When the creatures talking heard him snap a twig under his bike, they went extremely quiet. He said the language almost sounded like Czech and was like a lot of like K and T's. He said the voices were very manly, and he said the area is very secure. So nobody's really going up there, and he doesn't think any other people were in the area. And then earlier that week, he said he saw footprints that were about a foot in gait. So if you're thinking about that, like tiny little gate, and they were 3 inches of a footprint leading up into the forest. So putting those 2 together, he figured it was the Menehune.
Wow.
And so if you're thinking of like that language, like it's like very like interesting. Like, I don't know.
Different from Hawaiian, for sure.
Yeah, it seems like some type of like, it would seem very similar to Hawaiian. Like there's a lot of K's in Hawaiian language. But he said he was like, never heard that before. So interesting.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah, I have 2 more for you. So Albert is a local on Oahu who said he was walking a trail on the east side and saw 3 little men/creatures sitting in a fern on the mountain ridge. He said that they were hairy except for their faces, and he said they were nonchalant and not scared of him. They just deadpan looked at him with a slight smile on their face. He turned his head away for a second, and when he looked back, they were gone. He said they looked kind of like a cross between a hedgehog and an ape. Personally, I think these were more of like maybe a type of monkey, but then again, there aren't really any monkeys in Hawaii. So either way, this would be a cryptid. Also, something to note is there are mixed reports on if Menehune were covered in hair or if they were more human-like with only hair on their heads.
Wow.
When they showed the picture of this, I don't have it because I don't want to like get into like copyright issues or whatever. But if you do want to watch the episode, it's available on Amazon. It's like $3 or something. But they look like the way that they depicted them, they definitely looked like some type of monkey.
Oh.
Like I was like, I don't see this as a Menehune, but like maybe. But it's weird because there is no monkeys on Oahu either.
No, that would be strange regardless of what it is. And it's something that like I could see over time, the tale of the Menehune, like it feels so tied to elves, like crafts, like the craftsmanship, the size, like I can see it over time kind of, as cultures, the conversations are passed down, people are kind of drawing similar stories. So it would be fascinating to see kind of like those distinct differences instead of it being so made to look like a human. Like what does that look like? I don't really know. It's a good question.
I know. It's super interesting. The last one is Piahi, a woman from the Big Island who got married in Kona at the Sheraton, and she claims the Menehune was captured in one of her wedding photos. She said that her niece kept telling them that there was a face in the photo, and when she looked at it and took it to the elders, they confirmed that they believed it was a Menehune. to me, I think that picture, it definitely looks like it's like a case of making a face out of nature. However, it could be a Menehune. Like, when you see a cloud and you're like, that looks like a horse. It's kind of giving me that vibe. Again, I don't have this picture. I'm so sorry, you guys, but it's on that episode. It's just not clear enough for me to be like, yeah,
100%.
like for sure something. Yeah, it was definitely interesting though. But that's the Menehunes. I have a whole different perspective on them because when I jumped into this and started this research, like I was just like you, like it's a fairy tale. They're like little mischievous fairies that come in, and I had no idea that we had a Stonehenge in Hawaii.
That is shocking. I mean, truly, like that can be its own episode in itself of figuring out if there are connections. I think one of my favorite things is when they zoom out and they do the lines connecting them across the globe. So I'd love to kind of see like how Hawaii's connect to other ones.
Yeah, I wonder if they have it connected in there.
Yeah, because I feel like I've never heard that. I've never
heard that.
That's my thing.
I've never heard of that in my life.
Oh.
So interesting. Maybe we'll get into that on a different episode, like a general weird or something.
Ooh, oh yes, absolutely. Definitely have to do that. Oh,
I love it.
Okay, well, great job. That was wild.
Crazy.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait to deep dive search into this.
Right?
all the homework that this is. I feel like that's the best part about like sharing stories back and forth is me learning something new and going, well, now I know how I'm going to spend my weekend or my next Google. Like,
no kidding.
Truly be.
Right.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Taylor. That was incredible. Great to learn about the Menehune. And what a kind of sweet thing, too, to tie in our childhood and, Hawaii things. I think that's what's, especially now, like being able to talk about Hawaii and just how much it's a part of us, even though we don't live there anymore. It's still such a huge part of our lives.
Yeah,
so
100%. Hawaii is very spiritual, too. So they're definitely going to get more out of me. Night marchers are a big one. That's definitely coming. I've had a personal experience with that. I feel like I have a lot of personal experiences, and I think we touched on this in the last episode, but like, I promise.
I mean, you left
I just want to get all of the good ones out.
You've left everyone hanging with the ghost peeing in your bed. I mean,
Listen, let's try to not bring this up as much as possible. But
you have to share that story eventually. Just saying. I'm excited.
Just an update. I guess I update on the Hat Man. The little green Bissell, the little green machine, fully sucked his ass up. He's gone.
Oh, 10 out of 10 Amazon review.
Love him. Get it.
That's hilarious. I mean, Prime Day is coming up. Do your shopping. Not sponsored, but great for demon hunting.
It's great.
I love it. All right. Well, now for my cryptid. Here's a little bit of a hint. I will be covering
I would have never guessed.
Mothman.
Love it.
So excited. He's a Mothman. Wait, do you get that reference, that song? Boxman?
No.
Okay, so I know you and I used to watch a lot of YouTube videos. I couldn't remember if you and I were also like Smosh watchers.
Wait.
Boxman. Very, very classic YouTube.
It's coming back. Yeah.
Well, because I know we would, so just a little background for Taylor and I, we would spend like tons of afternoons just on YouTube, but very early YouTube, like
Shane Dawson days.
Oh, like way back, like, and Albano Black Sheep was like ever ruling.
The little plaid ninjas.
I feel like we watched that like over and over, like on repeat. I think we were able to like we knew all of the beats at a certain point. We were obsessed with Tiny Plaid Ninjas. So I don't know who created that, but thank you. That was really pivotal to our lives.
We appreciate it.
And that just brings back like so many, like Taylor and I would truly like, I'd go over to her place, we'd watch those videos, and then we'd hunt cats because Taylor does like the best impression of, can you still do the impression?
I don't know if I could still do it. Let me try. I don't even remember. I just say okay, this is embarrassing. I go pee to my bed and I also talk cat.
The perfect description.
I'm so embarrassed by anybody watching this that knows me.
Gosh,
seriously.
No. I was impressed and I was fully I was like, my friend can speak cat. You don't understand.
Legit, I would catch so many cats. Kelly's cat, I caught her cat and then gave it literally.
A Flemings,
I would just.
Right?
I also catched I was a weird kid, obviously.
That's why we were friends.
I would catch pigeons. I would throw towels on pigeons and catch pigeons. My dad's like, what the anyway. The cat. Let me try it. It was like,
love you, but I did think it was a smidge better.
Listen, my voice is like, my dog came.
Crying.
Okay. I'm not okay. Did my cat even move? She's not even in here. She like ran away.
That's so funny. Thank you so much for letting me put you on the spot, though. That was beautiful.
I'm going to practice that and come back later.
But I'm telling you.
Right here.
I'm telling you, like, your wires are crossed. That makes sense. It grabbed the dog. That is so funny.
I got the dog.
But I'm not kidding. Like, we were like, what? 10-ish?
Yeah,
like, we were young. We were kids. And I just remember, like, convinced. I would like hide behind Taylor as Taylor would like duck down into these little areas because there's just so many wild cats there, so many stray cats. And I just remember like I being like, my friend, like she can connect with them. Like I was like, you could not tell me otherwise. It was like
I could. I don't know what it was.
Funny.
I just
so funny. I literally okay. Anyway, back to Mothman.
Can you do a Mothman impression?
I wish. A Mothman
I don't even know what that
impression,
sound like.
They screech.
I mean, you are doing when you're dressed as one.
It's so true. Apparently they're screeching, but I don't really know the screeching noises a Mothman makes. But
I don't know either.
I just have to say, covering cryptids is like the most magical thing. But when it came to picking one for our first cryptid episode, it felt like I was picking between children. Like it's like telling you have one favorite child, and it felt very mean. Like I felt like I kind of felt like a mean parent being like, "I'm so sorry, Bigfoot. I'm so sorry, Loch Ness Monster. I'm so sorry, Chupacabra." And I just was like, Mothman. Like it just was so
I had such a hard time with it. See, that's so funny that you felt that way. I was like, I have no idea because there's just so much information on some of them that it's like, where do you even stop?
It is so, and it can be, I think that's the thing. Like I'm excited to talk about Mothman and really get into it, but it really was like, there's like when you have a cryptid, when you have lore, when you have these legends, I mean, they really take off beyond, no pun intended there with the takeoff, but they truly like, it just becomes otherworldly and it becomes like, there's just so many, everyone has their opinion, everyone has their theories. And then you're talking about, 1966 was when this all kind of started. So it's a long time ago, and that's a lot of years for the internet to kind of do its thing and go
100%.
wild. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But I'm so excited to do the Mothman. There's just a soft spot. There's a soft spot for the Mothman. I think he's kind of cute. It's just like a cute little like fuzzy creature. And like there's something just about like piercing red eyes. It just has like the classical makings of a good monster. Like you can't make out any features. 7 foot tall, huge wings, and bright red eyes. Like it's kind of like
I love it.
It's that monster feeling. So let's go ahead and get into it. On November 15th, 1966, near Point Pleasant, West Virginia, 2 young couples, Roger and Linda Scarberry and Steve and Mary Mallett, were driving together on State Route 62. As they approached the locally referred to TNT area, they saw a 7-foot humanoid creature on the side of the road. As they got closer, their headlights revealed the being's large, glowing red eyes and white wings. Their commotion, along with the light from their headlights, frightened the creature, causing it to awkwardly stumble out of the light and, like a helicopter, take off, showcasing its 10-foot wingspan.
Damn.
I know. Roger, the driver of the vehicle, immediately noped his way out of there and headed back to town. All 4 of them rightfully stunned. But something changed. Their panicked movement caught the attention of the creature, and it decided to follow them. Linda, Steve, and Mary screamed at Roger to go faster, so he floored it, yet the creature was able to keep up with them at around 100 miles per hour, shrieking as it flew.
Can I just say, it does kind of give me like a moth attracted to light.
Yeah.
He's like, one, it startled him. And then 2, he was like, I got to go towards the light.
Yeah, a little bit. Like at first he's
very
afraid.
Moth-like.
At first he's afraid of the light. But then
he's entranced.
Then he's like, ooh, panic, chaos. I'm in. Like very talk about a dramatic creature. Yeah.
Do we love this? Ooh. Is it going to hurt me? I don't know. Let's find out.
Let's follow it. Let's see what happens. And so as they entered the town, the creature finally backed down and disappeared into the night. Shaken up, the couples decided to go to the police and explain what they had just witnessed. The next day, the headline, couple see man-sized bird, ... creature, ... something, makes Point Pleasant Register paper. Within the article, Steve is quoted as saying, "It was like a man with wings. It wasn't like anything you'd see on TV or in a monster movie." Roger follows up by saying, "I'm a hard guy to scare, but last night I was for getting out of there. If I had seen it while by myself, I wouldn't have said anything. But there were 4 of us who saw it." Linda, Roger's wife, sketched out what they had seen. I'm going to show you that right now.
Okay, weird.
So this is what she drew.
He's got hips, though.
Honestly, cinched.
That's great. Nice waist.
Really, yeah, voluptuous Mothman.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The story and the press it would receive would bring to light many more Mothman stories in the area. A group of gravediggers in Clendenin, West Virginia, come forward with their own accounts of the Mothman 3 days earlier than the original sighting. While working in a cemetery, the men spotted something massive soaring over their heads, then begin to move rapidly from tree to tree. They described the creature as large, brown, and human-like. The Gettysburg Times reported that there were 9 sightings within a week, including 2 volunteer firefighters who claimed to have seen a very large bird with large red eyes. Another account, later documented in the famous book The Mothman Prophecies, tells the story of a German shepherd named Bandit who chased after large glowing red eyes before disappearing into the woods.
Oh, no.
I know. It's always the dog stories that make me go, oh, no.
I know.
Devastated. His owner, Newell Partridge of Salem, West Virginia, claimed to have seen strange patterns on his television screen, followed by a mysterious sound outside his home days before. When he shined a flashlight towards the noise, he saw the same 2 large red eyes his dog would later chase. As more reports came in, news outlets needed a name to call the creature by. A reporter, inspired by Batman, began calling the monster Mothman.
Of course it came from Batman.
Right? Like, he's like,
This, like, I could just see it. He's like a Marvel head. He's like, it's the Mothman.
For real.
Like, make it so cool. I can see it.
Apparently in the Batman, and I'm going to get chewed-a-lied if I get this wrong, so I'd like to apologize to anyone who is really into this and I get this wrong, but I'm pretty sure later on I saw that there is a creature called the Killer Moth in the Batman series, but that didn't exist back then. So a lot of people thought, oh, maybe this was like combining the 2, but it didn't exist yet in the lore. But it is kind of on brand. Like there is kind of
makes sense.
Giant moth creature within Batman. So that is a part of it. All right, now to get into what did people really think was going on? So the sheriff, George Johnson, believed the sightings were due to an unusually large heron. I'm going to show you a photo.
Girl.
No. Big pass.
That's like a seabird. Like, what are you talking about?
So wildlife.
That does not even look like 10 feet wingspan.
I can't remember like how, but it doesn't really.
Like, where are the red eyes? Where is the snatched waist?
It is not giving the way Mothman gives.
It's not giving Mothman.
Mothman serves it for the people. And
he's a little bit thicker, you know?
Yes, exactly. So wildlife biologist Robert Smith was convinced the sightings fit the description of a sandhill crane, a large American crane almost as tall as a man with a 7-foot wingspan with circles of red around their eyes. So let me show you what that looks like.
Okay.
So that's the eyes.
Okay.
Remember, it's dark. They saw it on the side of the road.
Yeah, but that's not like...
And like maybe in the right, like if
I'm kind of seeing that one a little bit more, but still, that looks like a freaking, what are those? What am I thinking about? Ostrich.
It is kind of, I see the ostrich.
If I saw an ostrich on the side of the road in the middle of the night, that would freak me out.
And ostriches are pretty big, too.
Like, they can't fly, though. Can that thing fly?
Yes, this can.
Oh.
And it can, it's almost as tall as a man with a 7 feet wingspan. Like, that's pretty, like...
Wow, that's pretty big. That's
pretty
a big
significant.
bird.
Yeah, exactly. And the red, and it's late at night, so they're just really seeing the shape of it. I see what they're...
It does not look like the sketch.
I'm just trying to picture, like, okay, we see the side version of this right now, but if we saw, like, maybe it from head on, I can kind of see it.
Yeah. A little bit.
And so another explanation that was really popular at the time was it must have been a giant owl. Now
those eyes
and
those
the
are the
top
right
of
eyes.
it and the top of it with its little
it's little moppy thing.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
and
he's cute.
So cute. This is a Stygian owl, which was rare in the area, but they have found this over the years in the area. And one thing that's really like important to know about this type of owl is that the eyes will only glow that red reflecting color when light is on it. So all these people,
it's like a cat eye.
Exactly. All these stories have light being shown upon it, and that's when you saw the red glowing eyes. So it really matches that kind of...
Okay, but like, is this thing going out and eating German shepherds? Because like, I don't see it.
Absolutely not.
That's a big dog.
And this is way smaller. This is not
it looks like
by
a baby.
any means. Like this specific owl, I think, doesn't even get anywhere near that size.
Yeah, he's not giving me terror. He's giving me like, I want to cuddle with it.
So cute. I mean, owls are pretty vicious though. Yeah. So that's kind of the main ideas of the time. Now, there's one major piece of this puzzle we need to talk about, which is the TNT area. That's where the two young couples originally spotted Mothman.
Okay.
Known by locals as the TNT area, during World War II, more than 8,000 acres in this region was devoted to an ammunition manufacturing facility that employed a few thousand people at its peak. And Point Pleasant's a pretty small town. Explosives were stored in bunkers scattered across the area. At the end of the war, the area was abandoned, converted to a wildlife management area. However, it was discovered in the 80s to be extremely contaminated by explosives and their byproducts. A cleanup was done in the 90s. However, in May 2010, one of the bunkers containing 20,000 pounds of materials suddenly exploded. Because of this, many believed the Mothman was a mutated animal.
Okay, that's where I thought this was going. Like, was it mutated but like...
Because that's a lot of, I was watching this one documentary on the Mothman, and a local had said that he believes that they were even doing nuclear experiments there because it was such a big facility, and it shut down after World War II. So it's kind of in line with all of that.
But like, isn't it like a cross of like a human and is it the human that turned into a moth, or is it a moth that turned into like a human-like thing? You know what I mean?
I mean, this is such a slippery slope because, the internet turns it into, they were doing experiments by mixing animals and humans. But I don't go fully into that because it's such a all right.
Dude, you'd be surprised though. I think there is some things that we would be shocked by that the government has done.
Oh, for sure. I mean, if you think of
turning a moth and a human, I feel like that's just like you take something so small and then something so big, and it's not connecting.
They were just
for
like,
me.
yeah, let's try and make anything happen. I don't know. That's a little far to me. I'm more willing to believe that they had this area where they had all these explosives and they just didn't clean it up. Like that's
oh yeah, 100%. That's happening right now. Like, hello, the train derailment. Like,
same,
whatever.
Yeah.
See what comes
Same
out of the
story,
sludge.
different
I don't know.
place. It's so true.
Exactly.
And I can totally see it. 8,000 acres. It's huge. It's a huge amount of land. And from what I can understand, like they turned it into a wildlife area, but it was more so like, we don't want to clean this up. Let's call it a wildlife area and call it a day. Like that's kind of the vibe I got from just like interviews that I've seen online. But I can easily believe like an owl or a crane like maybe got mutated. I personally lean into that theory because that's fun.
Possibly, but then they mutated into like Okay, I don't know. Isn't there also like about Mothman him being kind of like paranormal in a way? Like,
Ooh,
doesn't
we'll
he
get
bring
into it,
like
girl.
weird? Okay, I love it. A mutated demon. Ooh, that sounds terrible.
Oh, that sounds worse.
Sounds like a bad idea.
Like, both are bad. Like, that's not. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that one. We're not even gonna.
The demons need to stay away from the nuclear areas. Okay, we just can't deal with that right now.
I do not have that in me.
Listen.
Reports of the Mothman would continue to come in for over a year.
Wow.
However, all sightings would come to a stop on a tragic day in December 1967. The Silver Bridge that connected Point Pleasant, West Virginia to Gallipolis, Ohio, collapsed under the weight of rush hour traffic. 46 perished in the tragedy. Because the bridge collapse and Mothman sightings were so close together, people began to connect the two. Theories began to appear accusing the Mothman of being something demonic, a creature that was either a messenger of death or possibly even the cause. Over the years, more theories have popped up, including the Mothman being of alien origins or an interdimensional being.
That was just like the Hat Man.
Mm-hmm. And one of the another ideas was, okay, so some people thought a demon that was messenger of death or possibly the cause, of course. But some people were like, okay, maybe it's an interdimensional being or an alien that was there to try and warn people. So that kind of was the two different sides of outside of maybe an animal or a creature. That's kind of the two camps that people put
I like
Mothman
the creepy
into.
camp just because it gives you like the creeps, you know, like you don't want to see it. I can kind of see the alien though too, because like maybe that the race of aliens that they always say like look like praying mantis kind of looks like a moth.
Very true. Very, very true. And I think another interesting thing is on the alien side. So as reporters started to write a lot about Mothman, apparently, and this just goes into every story. Every story has this ending. But apparently, Men in Black did come into Point Pleasant and started.
It's always the fucking Men in Black, man.
I know.
They're everywhere.
I know. I almost hate bringing it up because I'm like, it's always tacked on to one of these stories. But apparently, some of the reporters that were getting very invested into Mothman before the bridge accident were visited by Men in Black. That is something that I saw a couple times online as well.
Interesting.
So that kind of puts Mothman back into like an alien species. And it's...
But like, are the Men in Black, here's the thing, are the Men in Black always alien? Like, do they always have to relate to aliens? Because what if it's the government just paying people off that see anything that they don't want them to see, regardless of if it's aliens? Because like, I was watching a show last night, I forget what it is. It's on Netflix and it's about UFOs.
Girl, is it Unexplained?
Yes.
Girl, I was going to recommend that show to you. I'm not kidding. That's so funny.
Everybody else should watch it too.
Oh my gosh. I
love it. I'm already involved.
It is so good. Which episode are you on?
Okay. Here's the deal. I'm a grandma. I keep falling asleep to the first episode. I've tried 2 nights in a row now. And every time it'll be like 10 minutes into something I haven't seen. I'm like, wow, this is so interesting. And I'm like, gone.
I love that.
I'm going to try again tonight.
I just finished episode 2, so I'm right there with you.
Okay, perfect. I'm not that far behind. Love it. But they were saying that like you would get paid and then I thought maybe Angel from the first episode, even though I honestly think that might be a hoax, but from the first episode, maybe he got paid off not to make the second video and just paid to go away.
Ooh, I mean, it is I love Roswell was another one where the rancher, Mac Brazel, one of the stories that people said was he had a brand new truck after he went silent. After they took back the original story, he had a brand new truck and all this
listen,
stuff.
I'm not going to say that he wasn't saving for his truck, but maybe he was not saving for his truck.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the lore of Men in Black, right? It's like this ominous government group that pays people off and keeps things under wraps. So I don't know. I have a thing about Men in Black. I like to keep them in my alien stories, but sometimes for some reason with Mothman, I was like, don't do this. Don't take Mothman from me.
I know.
As silly as that sounds, but an interesting point for sure. Besides the sightings in the late 60s, there haven't been many more sightings of the Mothman. More recently, in 2016, a man spotted a mysterious creature in Point Pleasant, where the original sighting took place. And he took photos of the creature jumping from tree to tree.
Yes, sir. You got cammed up, and we love it, and we thank you for it. I hope these photos are actually good.
So here's the first one.
What the fuck? I didn't expect that.
So just for context, the little, that's the head on the left side.
Girl, duh.
Okay. Well, I thought maybe it was its little tentacles.
No.
Okay. Here's photo number 2.
Okay, that one's a little bit more weird. Like, I would think that's a bat. That first one, though, like, what in the hell? What are those legs?
And the man claimed to have never heard of the Mothman legend.
Could this just be like a dude jumping on a trampoline?
With like weird little shoes on.
Yes, in your outfit right now.
It's actually me. This was me.
It's actually you. Oh my God.
Fully,
what?
Like fully,
like,
I love it.
It's so weird. It's giving me angel vibe. It looks like it could be painted on top of like a mausoleum or something.
Oh, okay. I see that. I kind of love that.
I wasn't prepared for that. I didn't know what I was getting into, but I didn't think it was that.
Relatable. In 2018, multiple sightings of a flying humanoid creature were reported in Chicago. Accounts included a large, black, bat-like being with glowing red eyes, a big owl, a gothic gargoyle, and a Mothman, because, you know, it's in the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
So a security guard in Chicago who witnessed the creature told Vice News, quote, "I saw a plane flying, but also something moving really awkwardly under it. It didn't look like a bat so much as what illustrations of pterodactyls looked like, with the slenderness of its head and its wing shape. I know what birds and I know what bats look like. This thing didn't have any feathers or fur, and it didn't fly like anything I've ever seen." After the creature flew away, he went to retrieve his phone that was charging. Quote, "I remember thinking, this was the worst time in the world to have my phone charging." End quote.
That's what I was exactly thinking, sir. Like, how convenient.
How convenient. It's always, the tale as old as time.
That's fine. We'll let it slide this time. But he had no, okay, that's interesting because the first couple accounts definitely say like feathered, furry.
Yeah, this one didn't. This was more like
That's more like bat. Have you read
pterodactyl.
ACOTAR?
No.
Oh, damn it. Like, you don't know what the bat boys are? The Illyrians?
Okay, no, but inform me.
Maybe, I don't know. I like, if you're a big reader, it's a big series. It's right back there. It's like 4 or 5 books.
Is it good?
But it's like fantasy romance, and there's these bat boys. And it sounds terrible, but you end up falling in love with them.
Okay. Like in like a cheesy Twilight way, or like is it more
Yeah,
action-y?
kind of.
Okay.
It's better than Twilight. There's definitely like descriptive scenes, if I can say. But
So Twilight means 50 Shades of Grey meets bats.
yes.
Okay.
Pretty much. It's really good.
Okay,
Anyway,
well, now I'm curious.
It just reminds me, like maybe something flew out of the books and is in real life.
Okay, I love that. The Bat Boys, are they in Chicago? Because then we
I don't
solved
know.
it.
No, they're in like literally their own fairyland, but that's okay.
Okay, I have so many questions. I'm going to look this up too.
They're in the night court. Just look it up. Just watch a few TikToks.
Okay.
Just look up Resend.
Look up what?
Resend.
Resend.
I hate his name. I call it Rysend. There's going to be a debate. If anybody else listens, reads ACOTAR, I say Rysend. Apparently it's wrong. It's Resend. Hate it.
It's up to interpretation. You can.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, now I'm curious. I want to know what that is. But it is interesting. Like, this feels so much more pterodactyl-y and not moth or owl.
Yeah.
This feels a little bit more. And also the timeline is so different. So,
Right.
I don't know.
Either way. Maybe it's the actual Batman.
The legitimate. I like
From like the legit Batman.
actual Batman part. I like the idea of a pterodactyl. Like, there's something very fun and Jurassic Parky in my brain of a pterodactyl, like coming for some reason, like some experiment
It survived.
gone wrong. Yeah, like life finds a way. Very, very that, and a pterodactyl hatched. There's something Like, I still have hope that woolly mammoths exist. I don't know why. When I was a kid, I was so obsessed with the idea of woolly mammoths. And I was like, I think they still are out there. And I don't know why.
When did they die?
A long
Did they die in the
time
Ice
ago.
Age? I thought they died
I
like
want to
later
say
on.
yes, but now I'm like worried. I don't know. Don't hold me to it. I was a kid.
Okay, well,
it was a long time
later.
ago though. They were gone. They've been gone for a long time. But it's that thing of like, there's so much of the world we haven't explored and we don't know. And
it's true.
Anytime I see an article that's like, previously thought extinct bird is actually back, I get so pumped. I'm like, we're so close to mammoth. Let's go.
Go mammoths. Oh my God.
We'll also cover that on a later episode of the pod.
Love it.
Okay. You can tell it's Friday. Friday energy. All right.
It is Friday.
All right. So the Mothman legend has extended well beyond the community of Point Pleasant, which now holds the annual Mothman Festival in September, gathering people from all across the world to enjoy. And you better believe that now we have to go. Like, I want to go.
We should go.
The shirts, the merch is really on point for this festival. I was like very like, shout out Mothman Festival and the people that put it together because one, it looks really fun. They take people to tours of the TNT area and the woods, the forest.
I don't know if I want that. Yeah.
Around it is really dense and really thick. So it's really like, okay, I can kind of see like things hiding within, I don't know. There's something about it that feels very like, okay,
when you're in the
lurking.
sticks. Yeah, you're like, oh, something's up in here.
Yeah, like I can't see too far. Except my brain immediately goes, oh, there must also be Bigfoot here. There's any dense forest, I'm like Bigfoot. But so that's it. That's the legend of the Mothman.
I love it. Cute. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know. Like what I always expected him to be, or I always thought of him as like very paranormal. Oh. Like very like weird. Like maybe, well, what is the other one? The Goatman Bridge. Have you heard of that?
No.
It's like a Sam and Colby thing. They like went to like Goatman Bridge and it freaked me out. I gotta watch it again. Maybe I'll cover that one time.
Okay, yes, I have so many questions.
But it reminds me of Goatman. I don't know what it is. Like there's just something. And why are there so many men? Like crossbreeds of man.
Yeah, where's the ladies
Mothman, Goatman. What's another man? Is it only those two? I'm like, what's up with all these?
No, it's just Friday energy. I believe you, though.
But there is, though.
But yeah, where's the moth ladies?
Yeah.
I guess that
where's the representation?
Where's we did have it with those aliens that were shown in Mexico because there was one female with eggs.
Yeah, we had eggs.
That. I know. I want a moth lady. Oh my gosh, with like really beautiful eyelashes. I don't know why that's selling that for me right now, but I can really see that.
Cute, love it.
Anyway, so that's the legend of the Mothman.
Beautiful. Woo. I'm excited. Well, next week we're gonna go into the general weird, or we're doing conspiracy theories. I know we've got something going on. It's gonna be generally weird next time.
Yeah,
so.
It is kind of the story that I have is so wild and such like internet lore, and I'm so pumped to share it with you because it's weird. It's like, so probably general weird is gonna be the
as weird as my cat sounds, or
I'm not kidding. If ringtones still existed or if they were still popular, I would have clipped that so quick. That's so funny. This is a random story, but I was recently in Washington, D.C. visiting another one of our childhood friends, Serafina, and we went to this pool, like this like resort. Do you know what Resort Pass is?
Yes.
Yeah, so you like buy
you can get in
a pass to just like go to a pool, which is hilarious because like looking back growing up in Hawaii, like how often we just pool hopped in places.
All the time.
So legal pool hopping.
It's fine.
With permission. So we did like a resort pass just for the day, and there was this little girl there. Her and her friend just would not stop making dolphin noises, like
that's so nice.
That. And then this one mom was like, wow, you do a really good impression of a dolphin. Do you have any other noises? And she, without a beat, goes, uh-huh. And that was it. No explanation. She jumps into the water and just swims away. And we were crying. We were like trying so hard not to laugh because like you don't want to like make a kid feel self-conscious or anything.
100%.
But it was so just the confidence of being like, oh yeah, I got this.
She's me when I was younger.
No, you really, really embodied the cat.
Maybe that's because you were also younger and you were like, she's so cool. Like, this is why I'm friends with you.
Wow. Taylor the cat.
Wow, the cat whisperer.
The cat whisperer. It's like when I told people I could control rain. I don't know if...
Why is that Mean Girls? I know it's going to rain because my boobie hurt. Like, what is it?
It kind of does. I was sitting on a trampoline with a childhood friend of ours, and the wind, there was like a nice like pineapple rain going on, and there was just a very, very light breeze, and so it was doing this, and all I was doing was just doing like following.
Tracing it, yeah.
And I was like, so dumb. Little me was like, did you know I'm a witch and I'm actually controlling that? And
I love it.
And then she goes, oh yeah, me too. And she starts doing the exact same thing. And I go, well, no, you're doing it for pretend. I'm actually doing it.
Oh my God. Wow.
Bratty child. So funny.
On one.
Anyway, happy Friday right now.
Happy Friday.
Happy Halloween. In the future.
Yes. Happy Tuesday. Happy Halloween. Go enjoy your trick-or-treating. Yes. Hopefully, if you're an adult, you get lots of little kids to your doorstep.
Oh, it's the best.
That's always the best.
Oh, it's the best. Happy Halloween, so guys. Cute. Oh, the best time. Oh.
We'll see you in our next episode, and we're going to go into the general weird.
Happy Halloween. Bye.
Bye.